Hey guys, quick question. What is in your buyer presentation right now? So when you start to think about the NAR settlement just being around the corner, you need to say to yourself, well, what am I doing about that? Well, one thing you need to do is to have your buyer presentation dialed in. I want to give you 11 strategies really quickly of things that you want to include in your buyer presentation. Number one is going to be the search process. Now, that can't just be you searching in MLS. Anybody can do that. The buyer can do that on their own by going into Zillow or Realtor.com. We want to go further than that by saying, hey, I'm going to curate the listings for you, meaning I'm going to hand select the ones I think are the best fit for you, and I'll comment on every listing that comes your way. So you're going to do some work. This is going to be you diving deep and being involved in the search process every single day. Second is the no stone unturned conversation, which just means this, that, hey, listen, when we're looking for a house, you might not be aware of this, but the best listings sometimes don't even hit MLS. So I'm going to be looking at for sale by owners, expired listings. We'll be networking with other realtors on those coming soon listings that haven't quite hit the market. If you're interested in a specific market area or neighborhood, I'll jump in and I'll canvas the neighborhood and see if any sellers are on the fence about maybe coming to market. Third thing is the actual research process on any specific home you're interested in. So with that research process, I'm going to dive deep. And this is really where my work begins. I'm going to look at all the permits that have been pulled on the house. I'm going to look at the architectural plans. We're going to talk to the seller about the disclosure statement. Make sure we get that. We're going to look at the plat maps, the aerial maps, the assessed value, the assessor's information about the property. We're going to look at every single thing that there is to know about the neighborhood, the trend lines, where appreciation is going for that neighborhood. I'll actually interview the neighbors and see what's going on and see what their comments are about the neighborhood and the specific home that's for sale. So you're going to know more about that home. And my goal is to have you know more about that home than actually the seller does themselves. We're also going to find out what the seller paid for that house and when the last time they refinanced it was. We'll also jump into something I call the buyer CMA. I'm going to give you all the same data that the seller should have got when they listed the property. So it's everything that's sold in the neighborhood, everything that's went pending, everything that's expired that hasn't sold, everything that's closed escrow. So you're going to know all the value in that market so you can make a really informed decision. And when we enter the negotiation process, which is the next thing that I do. Now, the negotiation process also involves the paperwork, which is something that I'm going to walk you through step by step. In our state, there's 27 pages that go into a real estate contract, but I'm going to help you get real comfortable with that. We're going to walk you through every page, make sure you understand what you're getting into, so there's no question marks, no surprises. Then we'll talk about the financing and how you're going to finance the purchase. If you're a cash buyer, great, but most of us aren't. So I have great lenders I can refer you to. But the key is to get a pre-approval letter so you're going to be much stronger in the negotiation. And ideally, that's from a local lender. I've got some local lenders I can refer you to if you like. Next is going to be the timelines and contingencies. When you want to get into the house versus how long it's going to take to get the financing done, the inspections completed. We'll talk about that. We'll negotiate that with the seller as well, which leads us to inclusions and exclusions. What are they going to include in the house? What are we going to ask for that maybe they're not offering to put out there in the house? So that's going to be part of the negotiation as well, which goes right also into inspections and deadlines. So we definitely want to have the house inspected. I've got some great inspectors who can help you really understand everything you're getting into on the inspection process. And then the aftercare, what happens when we get to closing and then after closing. So I'm going to walk you through every single step along the way. It is a process to get you to closing. So that's what we're going to cover. So every one of those things I just talked about would be a page in your presentation. And really the way to reference this and talk about this, one of my good friends, Jonathan, had this great comment. He says, don't call it a buyer presentation, call it a buyer strategy session. Great information. I love learning ideas from other top producers in the market. And I thought that was a great language. So guys, there's some ideas on building out your own buyer presentation. I hope that helps you in the market today. Have a great day. Good selling.